AKG says their K240 Mark II headphones are for studio monitoring, project studios, home recording, and even hi-fi listening. Let's find out if they're for you. Now, AKG has been making K240 headphones since 1975, and they were widely used and respected by engineers in the studio world. Today, the latest version, the Mark II, has become available for under $100 US. So these could be a really affordable option as long as they deliver on sound. So let's go through some comparisons of recordings made through these headphones using my binaural microphone against the original recordings. We'll try a few genres and we'll find out if these are neutral or if they're hype. Now, I'm completing all of these tests using the included Leatherette pads. The K240s also come with a set of velvet pads, so I'll do a test on those later to see what difference they make. So looking at the first linear comparison here of the Sine sweep, we can see that the recordings made through these headphones have a little bit of a boost in the frequencies above about 5K. Not a lot, but it's something to be aware of. And also in that sub-bass range around 50 Hz. So again, very minor, but that's on a linear basis. Let's check the log comparison to get a better idea of what we might hear. And looking at the logarithmic comparison, we can see that the bass really doesn't appear to be too hyped. And a lot of that probably has to do with these being a semi-open back headphone. So you're not going to get a lot of that bass buildup that you get with a closed back headphone. Also, the emphasis on the high ranges really appears to start showing in those upper frequencies. So again, above even 16 kilohertz. So these are going to be fairly natural from the point of view of a sine sweep. But of course, this is just a set of frequencies across the range. Drivers behave differently when we're playing all frequencies through them at the same time. So let's try this out with music. Now, looking at the linear analysis with music, we can see that the sound profile is very true to what we saw with the sine sweep. We've got a slight boost in the lower range and in the upper frequencies. Very minor, I would say, overall. Once again, we'll check the log comparison to see if there's any difference. Now, with the logarithmic comparison, which is a much more accurate representation of what we would actually hear, we can see again, the upper frequencies aren't really hyped very much, just a little in the real top end. And again, the same thing in those sub-bass frequencies. So for music, these are a very accurate set of headphones, again, with the Leatherette pads. And this is a sample of spoken words, so we can compare the sound of the recording directly versus the sound through the headphones. And this is a sample of spoken words, so we can compare the sound of the recording directly versus the sound through the headphones. Now, looking at the spoken word comparison, we can see that there's really nothing here that's going to make these headphones seem really hyped. We have a slight increase in those upper frequencies and a slight increase in the very bottom sub-bass frequencies. But again, nothing that's going to make you think, gee, these headphones are super boosted in the bass response or really brittle in the top end. Now, when I look at this log comparison of what we'd actually hear, we're seeing maybe a 1 or 2 dB boost in frequencies above 16K and maybe 1 dB in the, say, 50 Hertz range. So really accurate in terms of spoken word for what we can expect to hear. Now, while these aren't intended for gaming use, because they're semi-open and fairly lightweight, these could be good for those long gaming sessions. So I'll record some game audio through them. Let's see what you think.
Final straight, and this kid is not stopping.
Now, I have to say I was quite impressed with these headphones for game audio. They really did give me a sense of a spacious environment around me, and while not hyped, the explosion still had enough energy to feel realistic like you were part of the game. Now, they are open back again, so you're going to hear the environment around you, but overall, these could be a great option if you want a set of headphones that can be good for gaming as well as recording and listening. Now, when it comes to build quality, these are a very lightweight headphone, but they don't feel like they're going to fall apart. You can see they have a lot of flexibility to them. No issues there. Plastic construction, as I would expect, again, for the very much lightweight. They do have a removable cable. Now, they have a proprietary 3-pin XLR connector, so you've got to use AKG's cables with these, but they are interchangeable with a few of the different headphones. I have the coiled cable on here right now, and I have to say it's pretty stiff compared to a lot of ones that I've used, but definitely is workable anyways. The straight cable also has that kind of rigid characteristic, but again, seems to be okay. Haven't had one break on me yet. The pads are quite soft, but not overly soft. They give you enough pressure. They're firm enough around your ear to seal really well with the Leatherette. The velvet pads give you a really soft, open feel, really comfortable for a long wear. And there's quite a bit of room for adjustment. I found no issue with fit. A lot of room for your ears in here as well. So build quality, I'm going to say, is really good. These are going to be durable, and you have to know if they're used in studios all the time for tracking, they're going to stand up. Now, I will have a link to the complete features and specifications below, but suffice to say these are a semi-open back over-ear headphone with dynamic drivers. They in fact use AKG's proprietary Varimotion drivers. They're only 30 millimeters, so you'd think, gee, are they going to get the bass done? But as we've seen from the test, they definitely get you there. They have good sensitivity, good frequency response, and with a light weight of 240 grams, you could wear these for a long time and be very comfortable. Now, as promised, I went ahead and threw the velvet pads on these headphones, and I went through the same tests as I did earlier with the Leatherette pads. Now, I'll just show you the music comparison between these and the leather pads so you can get an idea of the difference you can expect. Now, I hope the subtle difference translated well over YouTube, but if you recall from the earlier test, we had a slight boost in the bass frequencies of 50 hertz or so, and also high frequencies above 5 kilohertz when compared to the original recording. Now with the velvet pads, we can see that there's slightly less in those higher frequencies and the low frequencies compared to the Leatherette pads. So they're going to be a lot closer to the original recording. In fact, with the velvet pads, very natural, very neutral headphones. Now let's take a look at the log comparison. We'll see if there's any difference. And we're really seeing the same thing here with the log comparison. We don't have a lot of deviation, but that boost in the high end and the lows is actually far less than it is with the Leatherette pads. Again, a lot more natural. So these headphones with velvet pads could be a contender for neutral mixing headphones. So now that you've had a chance to hear the headphones and see the comparisons, I'll give you my final thoughts. I have to say that in this price range, these are one of the most accurate set of headphones that I've tested out. It's not a wonder they've been very popular for studio use for a long time. You really will hear a good approximation of what you're actually recording. So that's great to see. Could definitely be used for gaming as well, could be used for casual listening. But in this price range, if you want to use these headphones for mixing, they're going to do a great job for you. Now, the downside is they are a semi-open back design, so they are going to bleed sound from the sides. So if you want to use them while tracking, there's going to be issues where it's going to pick up into your microphone. Now, if it's a DI with a guitar or something, not a big deal. But if you have an amp cabinet mic'd up or you're recording vocals, not really meant for that application. Now, changing to the velvet pads actually reduced the overemphasis and made them even more accurate. So if that's something you like, if you like the velvet pads versus the leather and you want to mix for long sessions, again, these could be a great choice. They actually have a reputation for having a little bit more hype in the high frequencies when measured with instruments in a controlled environment. But when we put them on to actually listen to them, and that's what I'm trying to test here with the binaural microphone, in fact, we don't perceive that hype. They come across as very accurate, very neutral. Now, AKG still makes the predecessor to these headphones. It's the K240 Studios, and I did a comparison of these headphones in a short. It's going to be coming out really soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And if you're looking for a closed back alternative that'll get things done for mixing and general use, check out one of these videos.